Good evening. Thank you for joining us this evening to learn about the I-35 project from 36th Street in Ankeny to Iowa 210 in Story County. As everyone is getting settled in, I just want to take a minute to let everyone know you are automatically muted. We are not able to view your video or hear you. The only way you will be able to communicate with the panel this evening is by using the podium, which you will see a button to the right of the screen or to the bottom of your handheld device. To begin, we are going to play a brief video, and when the video is done, I will open up the podium so you can type your questions in. I will then read those out loud and the study team will answer them. Please be courteous and polite with your questions. Again, thank you for joining us this evening, and we will begin the video.
Welcome to the virtual public meeting on the proposed improvements of I-35 in Polk and Story counties. The purpose of today's meeting is to provide a project overview of the I-35 widening and bridge replacements. The presentation will inform you on the progress to date, review the right-of-way that will need to be acquired for construction, discuss the schedule and next steps, and then open the meeting up to public comments and questions. The project is located on I-35 from just south of Northeast 36th Street to 3 miles north of Iowa 210 in Polk and Story counties. As you can see, traffic on I-35 has seen consistent growth over the last 4 decades. Even though traffic saw a noticeable decrease in 2020 due to the pandemic, traffic volumes are still expected to increase in the future. The I-35 project will improve safety and traveler mobility for current and future traffic. The current roadway is a 4-lane divided rural interstate highway with a 50-foot median. The improvements will add an additional lane in each direction to provide additional capacity to meet current and future traffic demand and update infrastructure which has reached the end of its useful life. The improvements will include full reconstruction and widening from 4 lanes to 6 lanes with a slight alignment shift to the west of the existing alignment. In addition to the widening of I-35, the interchanges at Iowa 210 and Northeast 126th will be reconstructed. Overhead and mainline interstate bridges within the construction limits will also be replaced. The public engagement process began in 2016, and 2 subsequent meetings were held in 2017 and 2018. The first public meeting introduced those in attendance to the project and gathered initial feedback. The second meeting introduced 2 alternative layouts to shift I-35 to make room for 6 lanes. The last public meeting in 2018 discussed the westerly shift alternative for widening I-35. This alternative is now the one being carried forward to construction. Since the last public meeting, the project team has received environmental clearance from the Federal Highway Administration and begun the process of construction staging. The following graphic shows how construction staging is expected to progress in the coming years. The yellow and purple lines indicate that either grading or paving will be taking place. Year 1 of construction will see southbound I-35 beginning to be constructed to 3 lanes. Additionally, the 126th Street Interchange, 142nd Street Bridge, County Road E63, and the Heart of Iowa Nature Trail will also be reconstructed. The southbound I-35 traffic will remain on the existing lanes of I-35 except for segments at 126th, 142nd, and County Road E63 where temporary runarounds will be constructed to make room for the construction team working on the bridges. Year 2 of construction will see a portion of the corridor completed, which is indicated in green. The remaining southbound lanes on the north end of the corridor will continue to be reconstructed. The Iowa 210 interchange and 158th Street Bridge will also be reconstructed. Temporary tie-ins will be built at 158th Street and Iowa 210 to make room for construction crews. Years 3 and 4 will see a shift in construction with the northbound lanes of I-35 being torn out and widened to 3 lanes. During this time, northbound lanes of I-35 will run on the old southbound lanes. Temporary ramp tie-ins will be constructed so that the access to 126th Street and Iowa 210 will be maintained. After the northbound lanes are built, permanent ramp tie-ins will be constructed to connect the new alignment with the interchanges at 126th Street and Iowa 210. It is important to note that the construction staging maintains 2 lanes in each direction of I-35 for the entirety of construction. Temporary ramp and bridge closures over I-35 will be necessary as construction crews replace the structures. Not all bridges in the project area will be closed at the same time during construction. Detours will be available during these closures to assist motorists with wayfinding. The following graphic reflects the cost and timeline for construction according to the latest 5-year highway program. Construction is expected to begin in 2023 and run through 2026. The total cost for the project is approximately $147 million. Costs, right-of-way limits, and project timeline may shift as the planning process progresses towards construction. The aerial maps shown on the next several slides provide details on the right-of-way needed for construction. The current image displays the southern limit of the corridor with I-35 running horizontal across the middle of the slide. The lines highlighted in yellow and red indicate proposed widening and bridge replacements. Right-of-way is shown in the light blue shade. Most of the required right-of-way is located adjacent to the west of Interstate 35. There is also land surrounding the interchanges at 126th Street and Iowa 210 that will also need to be acquired. The right-of-way maps that are being shown can be seen in greater detail by visiting the meeting page on the project website. Progressing north along the I-35 corridor, this is the proposed right-of-way needed surrounding the 126th Street interchange. Here is the proposed right-of-way needed around 142nd Street. Rest area. (158th Street). Iowa 210. Just north of Iowa 210 and surrounding the Heart of Iowa Nature Trail. Surrounding County Road E63 and approaching the northern limits of the corridor. The following aerial displays the right-of-way surrounding the 126th Street interchange. This aerial displays the right-of-way surrounding the Iowa 210 interchange. Again, visit the Public Information Meeting page after the meeting has concluded to view these right-of-way maps in greater detail. The next step in the process is for right-of-way agents to contact property owners between September 2021 and January 2022. Thank you for your time and attention. We will now open the meeting up to questions and comments from the public.
We are now going to have our live Q&A session. You should see the Join the Podium button to the right if you're on a computer, or scroll towards the bottom if you're on a handheld device. After clicking that, you will be able to submit your question or comment to the panel. Once we start getting comments, I will read them out loud for everyone to hear and the panel will answer. If you aren't comfortable asking questions in this group session, you can always use the comment form on our website. Right now, we're going to take a 2-minute video, or we're going to take a 2-minute break while we wait for questions and comments to come in. Okay, we have our first question from Grant. Grant asks, what is the approximate cost of the project if the additional lanes are removed? Also, please explain why traffic is expected to increase year to year at a constant rate.
This is John Harrigan. I'm the area engineer for Polk County. I don't know if we have a calculation with the lanes removed. I don't know, the cost calculation we have is based on the crossing bridges spanning the lanes, the additional lanes. If you drive the corridor now, you'll note that it's fairly full of traffic, and we only expect that to increase. The reason that line is straight is that when we start a project, we get a 20-year projection. So that line was connecting the last count we had with the 20-year projection. It won't necessarily be straight, as you can see on the existing counts. It's always jagged, but that's the numbers that our planning office developed.
Our next question comes from Nikita. When do you expect this project to be let for bidding?
This is John again. So the initial letting is scheduled right now for December 20th of 2022, and it will be let in several projects. So, there'll be several grading projects and several paving projects following on with that. With the final projects, I believe, being let in 25, the final erosion control.
Our next question comes from Gina. How much land acquisition is planned for Otter Creek Golf Course? And do you expect to acquire any homes on Northeast 47th Street or Northeast 45th Street?
There's no acquisition.
This is John again. There is no acquisition on the Otter Creek Golf Course. We need to tie into the pavement at 36th Street, which when that project was built, it was designed to be expanded easily into the 6-lane section. So we shift to the west, to the north of that. What was the second part? Can you repeat the locations where the question were?
It was asking, do you expect to acquire any homes on Northeast 47th Street or Northeast 45th Street?
I believe the only acquisition of a farmstead is, where's that one located at?
Iowa 210.
On 210. Yeah, the only acquisition we're showing as far as a home is on Iowa 210 on the south side, the southwest side of the intersection or the interchange.
Our next question comes from Gary and Jean. When will you contact landowners to notify of intent to acquire right-of-way, and how can we learn if our land is impacted?
Okay, I'm gonna pass this question to Eric from the right-of-way office.
Yeah, this is Eric Wright from the Right-of-Way Bureau. We're going to start the contact of landowners beginning September 21, and you'll be notified by a letter that we're going to be coming out to visit with you, and that first person to visit with you would be the appraiser.
Our next question comes from Jeremiah. As I understand, the goal is to keep I-35 open as much as possible to 4 lanes. Will speed be affected during this time with the current heavy traffic? I commute from Vacate to Ames nearly every day.
Yeah, this is John again. Yeah, we'll try to maintain 4 lanes. The project north of this on the Skunk River Bridge was very similar construction. 4 lanes were maintained. There's a side road bridge crossing north of the Skunk River that we did the same type of staging that's proposed now. Granted, that was a few years back, so there may be a little more traffic. There may be some times when traffic slowed down a little bit during construction, but there's no intent to reduce the speed limit for construction.
Our next question comes from Gina L. Documentation states this project is not currently in the 2017 to 2021 improvement program, nor has funding been approved. What is the earliest funding can be committed? Based on construction starting 2023, has it now been approved?
Yes, this has been approved. This is Andy Lunan. I'm the district planner. This has been approved and it's currently in the 22 to 26 Iowa DOT 5-year program. And it has been identified, I believe, in the previous year as well. It wasn't identified in 2017 to 2021, but after that time, we do approve a tip every year. So there's been several years it's been listed in there.
And Gina had another question. Is the purpose solely for widening I-35 or to develop the property for commercial real estate purposes to generate increased tax revenues?
That development may be a side effect of it, but the driver of this project is safety and capacity. As we get more and more traffic on 2 lanes, we'll see more crashes, and we're trying to be ahead of that curve to make a facility that can carry the traffic in a safe manner.
And then Gina has another question. Will there be a sound barrier included as part of the design?
There are no sound barriers anticipated. I believe the environmental study that was done included a noise study and didn't identify the need for any receptors that would have the necessary increased noise with the product.
We have another question from Gary and Jean. What time frame will the interchange at Northeast 126th have the bridge closed? I assume we will not be able to enter the both south and north all the 4 years while the bridge is closed.
We are looking on the display. So the bridge is removed in 2023, and the intent is to have the interchange back up and functioning after one construction season. I believe that's correct, that there will be no access north or south on that interchange during that year.
So that's all the comments or questions that I've got in the feed right now. If anybody has any more comments or questions, I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. If I don't see anything else in the next couple minutes here, we're going to wrap this up. We do have another comment here from Grant. If improving safety is the goal, that can be achieved by reducing the speed limit. The cost of printing and installing new speed limit signs would cost a fraction of $147 million.
And that's a true statement. One of the things we've found is that the speed on this stretch of road is in excess of what's posted now. People drive the speed they feel comfortable at and feel that they can drive without being ticketed, and enforcement's an issue when we don't have the patrol or the police officers to enforce to where people would obey a lower speed limit. Yeah.
And we do have another question from Gina. She asks, do homeowners have the option to schedule their own appraiser or a second opinion?
No.
Barry?
You have an option to hire your own appraiser for your own informational purpose. But the appraiser that will be coming out to the site on behalf of the department, that will be the evaluation that we'll be going with as far as our valuation for just compensation for your property.
And we've got a question from Mark L. What will be the status of I-35 between 3 miles north of 210 to south of Ames?
That was part of the original study on that this project was developed with. It is not programmed, but we plan to follow up with similar construction on that portion as soon as funding becomes available after this project.
And we've got a question from Leonard and Jacqueline. They're asking what the time frame is for Highway 210 bridge closure.
We are looking at closing 210 for the 2024 season. So the majority of the 2024 would 210 would be closed.
And our next question comes from Gina L. Once agreement is reached with the homeowners, what is the typical amount of time before the homeowner must vacate?
This is Eric again from Right Away Bureau. The time frame for relocation is based on the amount of items that need to be relocated, but it's usually between 3 to 6 months, depending upon a particular situation.
3 to 6.
And that looks like that wraps it up for our questions and comments. I'll give it another minute here to see if anybody else has any additional ones. I'm going to remind everybody who's viewing this, there will be a recording of this presentation online on our website. And if you do want to submit a comment or question, you still can do that through our website. We do have another question from Grant. If one of the goals is increasing capacity, what alternatives were considered? Was a service similar to the I-380 motor coach considered?
Andy, this is a planner type. I think back in about 13, we did a commuter study on this corridor, and there is a bus that travels daily between Ames and Des Moines that doesn't really pull the use to decrease the need to widen the road.
And our next question comes from Gary and Jean. Is there a way to slowly view the slides? Yes, Gary and Jean, if you just go out to our website after this, where you logged in to view this live meeting, there is an at your own pace, and you can go in there, you can play it, you can pause it, and just watch it at your own leisure. I'm just going to wait another minute here to see if there's any additional comments or questions. All right, this wraps up our online meeting. Thanks again for joining us. A recording of this video is available on the same website you used to join the online meeting. You will also find the project displays where you can zoom in on different parts of the project area you may be interested in, as well as the ability to leave a comment or question. Have a great rest of your evening, and thank you.